Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Okay, good evening, Exeter. Good evening to my colleagues on the Select Board, respective town staff, those in attendance, and those watching at home. Welcome to the June 16th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. And I'd like to start this evening by introducing the board. To my right, Selectman Dan Chartrand. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Our Vice Chair, Selectwoman Molly Cowan. Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
To my left, our Clerk, Selectwoman Nancy Belanger.
Good evening, everyone.
Our Town Manager, Mr. Russ Dean. Good evening.
Good evening.
Over to my right, Assistant Town Manager, Melissa Roy. Good evening.
Good evening,
Our
everyone.
Recording Secretary, Joanna Bartel. And my name is Nico Papakostendis. It's the four of us tonight. Selectwoman Julie Gilman had an unexpected conflict, but we have a quorum, so we're going to move forward with our agenda. Before we do, though, we have a very special group here this evening. Exeter High School varsity baseball team, Division I champs. And we have invited them to come celebrate with us, talk about their season a little bit. Very exciting season. It's very exciting for me because I'm looking at these young men, and I knew most of you before you had all of your teeth. So it's great to see how you've grown, matured. I know most of you from EJBL, and I couldn't be more thrilled for your victory. Before we get into the celebration, we did put together a 3-minute video, I think, that's going to show a little bit about your season. I would like to just say that in addition to bringing the trophy to Exeter, I want to compliment you and thank you for your sportsmanship, playing with dignity, playing with pride, and really representing your community well. So thank you very much and congratulations. So with that, let's cue up the video if we could, please.
Should we put that light down?
Checking on that second baseman runner, Andy Deals. Right fielder there for the out. That's going to retire the side. And the pitch, that one chopped up past shortstop. Shortstop bobbles it though, and everybody's safe. Keeping Deals. That one swung on.
from up there.
And the pitch, that one, shortstop there to make the catch. And Keaveney deals. That one swung on. And Keaveney is popped up. He's shortstop, not second baseman, and he's there. The pitch, that one line to right center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Possibly extras here as LaFleur is running right. I keep LaFleur at second. That's going to have 2 runners cross the plate. And pitcher deals. That one line to right. That's going to get down for the single. That's going to drive across another runner. And Exeter with a bit of a rally there. And the pitch outside. That one gets away though. And runner from third. All runners are going. And they will score on that error. As he does there. And that one grounded to the second baseman. He charges that one. Fires the first for the out to retire the side. And the 1-1 is lined to center field. The center fielder there, though, for the out. As here comes the pitch. First pitch swinging. That one flying to left. Pretty deep. And the pitch. Nice slider there by Schmanzers. Get that one in quickly. As here comes the pitch. That one swung on and missed for the strikeout. That's going to end it here. Exeter is going to walk away as the semi-final champions, which means that they're going to Delta Dental in Manchester very soon. And as you know, I like to name give a little bit of spotlight.
All right. So thank you to Exeter TV for putting that together. I'd like to call the coach, Bruce Joyce, up to the podium and maybe talk about the season, the game, and certainly introduce your team, if you would.
All right, well, thanks so much for having us. It's an honor to be here for sure, and to celebrate with the town for sure, and recognize these guys. I think I can remember all these guys' names, but this is Finn Adams, Jack Dever, Cam Crombie, Aiden Messier, Cam Pivnicki, John Backer, Andrew Carbonneau, Hayden Schmoller, Kyle Morgado,
Scoop.
Brennan Schmoller, Andrew Martin, and in the back we have Zach Hill, Mike Karen, Raymond Plant, and Will Tobin. And we also have Coach Rich Kane, Coach Wayne Young. So almost everybody. A couple of guys are out of town tonight. So again, thanks for having us. You know, magical season for sure. You know, last year we did lose in the championship game last year. Got there, very excited to get there, but losing the championship game last year left a bad taste in our mouth. And these guys were so hungry to get back to the championship game this year. The route to the championship game was not an easy one. We had a very good regular season, although we stumbled a little bit down the end. But these guys were so resilient and just so awesome, and they were able to rally. And getting through the tournament is not an easy deal. It's a single elimination tournament. You got to win 4 games. And we did it in fine fashion. We were able to take care of business in the first 2 games really well, and then it was great to have a chance at Pinkerton again in the semifinal game this year, who we lost to in the championship game last year. So guys were really looking forward to getting a chance at playing those guys again, and the semifinal game was just fantastic. We were able to get out of there with a big win, and then it just set up an incredible scenario where we take on our arch rival Winnacunnet in the championship game, which was the first time that Winnacunnet and Exeter have ever met in the baseball championship game. We've met in several other sports, obviously, but first ever game between the two, the championship game between the two teams. So it was a battle, and these guys just refused to lose. They wanted this badly from the moment we walked off the field last year after the disappointing championship loss. So Storybook ending to our season. I couldn't be happier for these guys, and very, very proud.
Well, thank you very much, and we're happy for you and the coaching staff. And I know a couple of you are seniors, who already graduated, moving on, so we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. I'm sure some of you are going to be playing ball. And Hayden, where are you? So about 8 years ago, you promised me that you'd give me your autograph when you made the pros. I'm holding you to that. Okay, I haven't forgot, so.
Tonight's the night.
I know. Can I ask a few questions? Can you raise your hand if you were in the game last year? Wow. And can you raise your hand if you're a senior? And can you just share where you're going and if you're playing? I would love to hear from the team.
Can pass that mic if you'd like.
Yeah.
You can grab that and just
Yeah.
pass it down the line. It's movable.
I'm Finn Adams, and I'm going to be playing baseball at Endicott College.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Jack Dever, and I'm going to be playing baseball at St. Anselm College.
Awesome.
I'm Aiden Messier, and I'm going to be playing baseball at Hood College.
Fantastic.
I'm Cameron Pivnicki, and I'm going to be playing baseball at Brown University.
Good for you. Congratulations.
I'm Kyle Morgado, and I'm just going to work next year.
I'm Hayden Schmoller, and I'm playing baseball at UMaine next year.
Congrats.
I'm Andrew Carbonell, and I'm going to Endicott College.
Fantastic.
I'm Zach Hill, and I'm going to Westfield State University to play baseball.
Awesome.
I'm Michael Karen. I'm playing baseball at Assumption University next year.
Wonderful. Terrific.
Thank you so much for sharing, and all the coaching staff. You must just be so proud, and your parents must be so proud. I'm a few minutes late because my son is playing baseball in Epping, and he just got he batted 2 players in, which is really good because he's new. So I just congratulations. It was really exciting. I happened to be driving through town when the fire truck came through, and I was like, oh my God, they won. So just huge congratulations, and thank you for all of the joy and pride that you bring to our town.
Can we grab a picture of you, the team, and the trophy?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Melissa, would you mind?
Yeah, and thank you guys for taking the time to come
Yeah.
tonight, so we could congratulate
Thanks for having us.
ourselves.
Appreciate it.
You guys can kind of do what you can, yeah, and we'll get the
Where are we
select board up
going?
there, and I am going
All
to
the
share
way.
those chairs, so no judging.
Okay.
Yeah, we could just stand up.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you guys take a knee, we'll be able to see the select board right behind you.
Okay.
Should have started that way.
Well, yeah, I'm the shortest one here, so, okay.
Scooch in.
Alyssa,
Oh, awesome, thank you. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
congratulations. Yay.
Oh, congratulations, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Thanks for coming by.
So much.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good luck. at
Have fun.
school
Have a
next
safe
year.
summer.
Bye. Right up there with swearing in new people, right?
That's so awesome. So excited for them.
All right. Well, that was the fun part of the meeting.
Well, we have another really good award.
We
Yeah.
do. We do.
We
Thank
do.
you for reminding me. All right. Let's get into some bid openings.
Yes, sir.
West Side Drive.
Hint to pick up my pen.
So this evening, the Select Board will be opening 2 bids for the West Side Drive project. Okay. The first bid is from Underwood Engineers in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I just want to make sure.
Sure.
Mr. Dean, on the bid schedule, do we need to break down the bid?
I think we need some clarification on the bidder.
I have 2 columns.
Okay.
So Underwood's our engineer, so if you could just double check the name, I think the 2 bids we received were from Jamco
okay.
and Grenice & Sons. But yes, to answer your question, there is a base bid amount and an
Put on
add
the
alternate
envelope, that
amount.
might
Yeah.
have it.
This is prepared.
No, it's good. You want my glasses?
No, it's the stamp they used ran out of ink.
Okay.
So let me see if I can match it up. I'm glad we celebrated the boys first. I can kind of make it out, but I can't read the.
I'm going to hand it
You know,
to
when
you.
you-
I'll give
when
it a
you-
try.
When you,
Yeah,
it's definitely
thank you.
Ken, Grenice, and Sons, maybe?
Grenice & Sons.
Yeah, and Sons in Salem, Mass.
Yep.
So I wasn't too far off.
Nope.
And then you were saying, do you want me to go down and individually list all of the?
Was there a total?
There is a total.
Just the total's fine.
Okay. Okay, so it looks like the bid is $6,028,748.90. I'll read the numbers.
Thank you.
6028748.90.
Got it.
Okay, and then the other bid is from Jamco, that's JAMCO Excavators LLC in Southampton, New Hampshire. And the bid is $7,536,076. I'll read the numbers. 7536076.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So, first.
Madam Clerk, I would entertain a motion to advance the bids to the Public Works Department for them to make a recommendation to the
So
board.
moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries 4-0. Thank you.
Okay, who gets this, you or Steve? There you go.
You know what, Steve, while you're up there, let's just take care of. Sure. We have one last thing for Steve that's like at the tail end of our agenda. So if the board would indulge me, I'd just like to address that. Just need to find it. Hold on, Steve. Okay, this is the acceptance of the Kingston Road TAP project as complete. Do you have anything to speak to?
Sure,
Or?
this is just a minor housekeeping item to close out the project. Essentially, it's just the town's recognition that the project has been completed.
Okay.
It authorizes us to pay the last invoice and starts the one-year warranty period on the project. So once we have a signature on that, we can get that back to DOT and wrap this
Perfect.
up completely.
Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion that the Select Board accepts the Kingston Road Shoulder Widening and Sidewalk Project as complete and authorizes the Public Works Director to sign the Certificate of Final Completion.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in
Thankful.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, well, now we'll open it up to public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to comment. There's nobody on Zoom, and we have no public, so we're going to move on from there. We have the meeting minutes from our Select Board meeting of June 2nd, 2025. I'd first ask the board if there are any revisions or amendments to the minutes.
I have none.
Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the Town of Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes of June 2nd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll abstain since I wasn't there.
It's 3-0 with one abstention. Thank you. And I would entertain a motion with regret to accept the resignation of Renee Allen from the 250 Celebration Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, and thank Renee for her work on that commission. And with the resignation that we accepted of Dave Short, that opens up a voting, opening for a voting member, and Steve Jones, the chair of the Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee, has recommended that the board appoint Don Jelly, who's an alternate, to a voting member. And I would entertain a motion to appoint Don Jelly as a voting member of the Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And now we're going to move into our discussion.
Mr. Chair, can I, there was a request from the Communications Advisory Committee to make David Kovar a voting member instead of an alternate. And we can either take it up now, or I can have it go on the...
We can take it up now if you make a motion. I watched your meeting, by the way.
I don't actually know when his term would be up, so maybe we should just stick it on the agenda for next.
I think, can we look it up real quick?
Yep. Oh, if we look it up real
Yeah.
quick, that would be great.
Yeah, let's do it now. Since the room's empty.
Take a moment.
So, 24 of 2028.
428?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I move to appoint David Kovar as a full voting member of the Communications Advisory Committee with a term to end
4 of 20.
for April of 2028.
So moved.
There's a motion.
You moved it and I'm seconding it. Sorry, Molly.
That's okay. Motion by Selectwoman Cowan, seconded by Selectwoman Belanger. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to
for
Mr.
helping
Kovar.
me.
Yes.
Okay, now we have Exeter TV has won another national award. No surprise. Excellent work they do, but I believe before we can address it, we're going to watch a video. Mr. Dean, you want to dim the lights again?
Will do.
Thank you.
I think we've shown that residents and visitors to town really enjoy the community spotlight that we've done with a few of our stories, whether it's the Ioka Project or talking with outgoing athletic director Bill Ball, and a lot of the other kind of community news, because the local news media doesn't necessarily cover the hyper-local stuff happening in Exeter. I think my goal is to further just keep building community through the show. I think we have so much more room for improvement and so many more stories to tell.
as a silly little robotic Lego piece does its simple, rudimentary task.
So we couldn't do this without our volunteers, and that's typical with all of our town government, right?
Turn, Gabe. Let's turn up the voltage and see if we can encourage a supernatural.
It was funny.
I do not want any of our neighbors going hungry. We need the help from our community.
Is rewarding for that 2 weeks of fun that you did, but I also think that video reached so many people in this community, and I think that when that station is built, that's another award for the work that you did. So thank you.
Ready when you are, Cap.
Ready.
For March 15th, 2024. Oh. For this week's report, voters approved budget and warrant articles at town election. Why?
It's so hard to see.
You were? I couldn't even hear you. All right, here we go.
All right. Good video.
Thanks. Gabe edited that, so all credit goes to him.
Thank you, Gabe.
I just put the little picture at the end.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to have you say a few words, but I just want to read this for the folks at home, if that's okay. Exeter TV received the 2025 Hometown Media Award for Overall Excellence from the Alliance for Community Media Foundation. The awards program was established to honor and promote community media, community radio, and local cable programs that are distributed on public, educational, and government access cable television channels. The Overall Excellence Award recognizes access organizations for their overall operational activities and programming efforts. The award shows that Exeter TV, which operates both public access and government access channels, meets the highest standards in the community media industry. Some of the achievements leading to the award include gavel-to-gavel coverage of nearly 150 boards, committees, and commissions, allowing residents to stay informed about important decisions taking place with their local government. 26 editions of Exeter TV's news magazine show, the Exeter Biweekly Report, airing every other Friday with important news from town departments and committees, updates from local area nonprofits, and important community stories. The Meeting Minutes series, which takes hours-long meetings and summarizes key points in digestible 3 to 5 minute online short videos to make complex government processes more accessible and understandable to the general public. Congratulations, Bob, to you and your team. It's a labor of love, and I know that, reading the 3 bullets, I mean, the fact that you can broadcast all of our boards and committees and have been doing so, through COVID, and then after COVID, the work that you put in, there's always somebody here, and then just the biweekly report and the other things that you do, the YouTube channel, you've made extraordinary progress in a very, very short period of time. So thank you for all that you and your team do, and congratulations on this prestigious award.
Thank you. Yeah,
Well done.
we're really excited. We'll be headed down to the conference for the Alliance for Community Media later this month, where we'll be doing a bunch of lectures about different things, hearing from other people, and it culminates with the award show. So we're really excited to join some of our other colleagues from New Hampshire who also won awards for radio programs or their videos. And we at Exeter TV and New Hampshire, I think, are showing the country really what community media is in the Granite State and what it can be, nationally. So we're just happy to be a part of that. And I'll thank, Gabe Perez, Will Tapley, who helped us for this award, and Dan Monchek, who's now with us on the team. I couldn't do anything without them. They're the ones doing all the real hard work of, they're here every night. You guys see Gabe all the time for the meetings, and I think we have a really good team and support from town manager's office and you guys, so we're able to kind of go out and do all this good work. And I'll, thank all the departments as well who let us in and, shove cameras in their face so we can show the great work that they're doing to the public. So it's a fun job, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah, a few things that I just wanted to point out that I've been on budget before and general government and talking with you through the years. One of the things that I find incredibly helpful with one of your goals was you keep finding ways to get the word out to people, and I think your biweekly reports and all of your other efforts, people can get a glimpse, and I'm hoping it entices them to go watch meetings and if they want more information, so you give them the teaser almost. And your ability to just keep getting our subscription numbers moving in the right direction. So thank you for all you guys do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. You've become an incredibly important part of how we do local government, and I'm very proud of you for getting this award and
Thank
your
you.
team.
Okay.
I know I would just love to add, in my professional life, I work a lot with organizations dedicated to combating misinformation and disinformation. And I think having really clear, unbiased content available, literally piped into people's is such a critical way of building trust with our constituents to shine a light on what we're doing. Nothing that we're doing is in secret, and how you make it accessible and fun and entertaining is really commendable. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do and your team does, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And if anyone's watching, we're only like 50 subscribers away on our YouTube channel at 2,000, which would be a big thing. So hit the subscribe button if you're
Stops
watching.
working on the subscription. That's what I mean. It's important. Thank
Well,
you.
the other thing, Bob, that goes without saying is you and your team have been invaluable for promoting the last couple of years some very important warrant articles, including the public safety complex, pickpocket, and the siphons. And I think that just how talented you are working with not only the select board, town manager's office, and department heads to get these videos done in a really professional way, to get that message out, has really educated voters on what they're seeing, at the ballot. And in addition, just other things that, have come up, for instance, the revals last year, accessible voting, just all these videos that you've been doing have just been invaluable to our community. So I also want to thank you for that, and once again, keeping Exeter on the forefront. So
Yeah, happy to do it. Thank you.
well done. All right. Okay. Two fun things this evening.
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting to
is
see how
exciting.
far
Good
Exeter
night
TV
so
has
far.
gone.
It's a good night so far.
Has come from the beginning. And yeah, it's great.
Well, we're going to keep the momentum going because we have Madison Bailey with us, our health officer this evening, who's going to talk about mosquitoes and ticks.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
A little bit. So I'm going to be talking about mosquitoes and ticks tonight. So we're going to start off with the tick program. So Exeter was one of 5 communities that was selected by DHHS to do tick dragging, which is like sampling. So you take like a white sheet across like the earth, and then you literally take a lint roller and you lint roll the ticks off of the sheet, and then you put it in a test tube, and it's going to get sent to a CDC lab, no charge to the town. And then next year we're going to get results whether or not these ticks that are sampled carry Lyme disease, which is like a form of bacteria. And this information will help myself and the town itself kind of guide people into where they should recreate and where they should not, and if they're going to recreate there, what precautions to take to reduce that risk of Lyme disease or other tick-borne diseases. So this is going to be taking place over the next month, and it's going to be 50 drags, 20 meters each, so it's not a lot of, like, it's a lot of work, and it's just me. So I'm really excited to kind of get out there and see what I find. And then moving on to mosquitoes, so as we know, last year was a little scary. We had a lot of EEE cases, but I'm happy to report that Exeter never had a single positive case, whether it was the mosquito samples, humans, horses. We were seeing like other towns like Kensington, I believe they had a gentleman pass away, which is really unfortunate. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that us partnering with Northeast Vegetation Mosquito Control, Justin Adams over there, he's fantastic. He's so knowledgeable. He knows a lot about Exeter itself and kind of what to do in certain situations and how to navigate how politics can be difficult when you're talking about scary diseases like EEE. And I think if it wasn't for his guidance and knowledge, that we would have been in a worse spot than we definitely were. And I think the money that we spend out of our budget on that service is really essential. And there were a lot of towns who decided to cut that out. And then last year in the middle of the season when it was getting really bad, they had to add it last second because people were dying. I think that's just something to note, and I wanted to share with everybody here and anybody else watching, to prevent mosquitoes from breeding, any children's toys, buckets, patio furniture, planters, tarps especially, anything that can hold shallow water, you're going to get larvae, which look like little worms swimming in the water, and that's mosquito eggs. And once they hatch and start flying around, and then they can get the bacteria known as triple E, and then bite humans, and it could transmit to others. That's how we spread disease. So if you eliminate those things, you're not going to create issues for yourself and your neighbors. So I just wanted to share that with everybody who attended.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So yeah, and if anybody has any questions, happy to answer them.
With all the rainfall that we've had, are you seeing an increase in mosquitoes this year?
Yes, I almost forgot to talk about that. So mosquitoes, just like ticks, have a 5-year cycle. So on year 5, it's the worst, and then from there it kind of goes down a little bit. Last year was year 5.
Okay.
So year 4, we're still going to see a high incidence of mosquitoes, especially mosquitoes that carry diseases like triple E. It's not supposed to be as bad as last year. However, it's like reading the Farmer's Almanac. You never know what you're going to get. So take that with a grain of salt. But the mosquito company now has an online tracking program they're trying to roll out, and Exeter is going to be kind of like a guinea pig for that.
Okay.
And we'll be able to get quicker reports on Exeter itself as compared to the state where you had to wait a whole week for them to process the tests. And at that point, it's almost like too late, essentially. So we'll be quicker with our information to share out to people.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. No, just thank you for being on top of this, and I'm glad we're the guinea pig on this, right? Because, yeah, it's very good. So thank you for what you do.
And I have tick remover kits. I thought more people would be here tonight, but if anybody wants any, I'm happy to share them out. There was 1,300, and they were gone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
They go like hotcakes.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
local businesses, veterinarians, schools, Parks and Rec, other town places. Yeah, they're all gone. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Really helpful. So I can give them to you guys if you want some, or if not, that's okay too.
You have a dog. I
dogs is
hibernate
great for
when it's bug season.
Okay.
So I do in the summertime, not the winter.
Yeah.
So I do. Thank you for the work you do, Madison.
Sure.
I'll get a couple. It is. It is. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison. Okay.
Actually, I think I'm the only one here that doesn't have a dog, right?
Well,
You, Molly, Dan.
Thanks for all your
We have 2 Gus's.
Yes.
Great job tonight.
Madison, thank you. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you for coming tonight. It was good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thanks,
You
Madison.
too.
night.
Bye-bye.
What's your last name?
Okay, our next discussion item, keeping the momentum going, we have our Finance Director, Corey Stevens, to review the 2024 year-end financial report. So,
Well, I started the meeting off with a room full of people. This is not a confidence builder, but
I will tell you, though, I've been looking forward to this presentation for at least a couple of weeks, so.
well, I'll start by apologizing because you should have had it more than a couple of weeks ago. I look back on my 2023 report and it was in March, so I need to do better at getting in front of you.
To be fair, and I appreciate that, but we've had some things to do, so we've been busy.
Sure.
So.
I appreciate that. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me on the agenda this evening. In your packet this evening is my report on the financial results for the general fund, water and sewer enterprise funds, and our 3 main revolving funds, cable access, recreation, and ambulance, for the year ending 12/31/2024. If there's anything, as I go over the highlights with you, that you want to ask me about, or you saw in the main report that you want to stop and discuss further, just let me know as we go.
Okay.
Probably the best way to approach that.
Thank you.
So starting with the general fund, it was a busy year and a productive year for town operations and the general fund. As you know, the executive team was focused intensely on incorporating and rolling out major pieces of the Keegan Management Report. This included restructuring the town manager's office, the planning department, and my office, finance department, really to improve the lines of communication or the efficiency of reporting up to Mr. Dean's office. I took on some responsibilities. Melissa did, as did our town planner, Dave Sharples, all to sort of streamline our mode of communicating with the town manager. That took a fair amount of the summer to get incorporated, and then we rolled it out to go live for September or October 1st. We were successful in negotiating new collective bargaining agreements with all three of our town unions, and we're in the process right now of rolling those out live. We were successful in hiring key positions, including the DPW director. In January of 2024, we hired a new deputy tax collector in September, and we are actively recruiting for a dedicated human resources director as also part of the Keegan Management Report. As you alluded to earlier, Mr. Chair, 2024 was a reval year for the town. That took coordination between the assessing department, our third-party contractor, the tax department, and administration to communicate to residents what the impact of the revaluation would be, and most importantly, what it would be on their tax bill. As you pointed out, Mr. Glowacki's team was integral in helping us roll that message out. So diving into general fund operations, as a result of 2024 operations, the general fund ended the year with net income of $1.7 million. That led to an unassigned fund balance at the end of the year of $5.99 million, which is up from 5.3 at the end of 2023. And the good news about this report being somewhat tardy this year is we've actually done the lion's share of our audit work with Plodzik and Sanderson, so that number 5.99 is fairly, I don't want to say real, it is been scrubbed. So we feel pretty good about what that number is at this point. Taking a closer look at the numbers behind these results, property tax invoices totaling $64.5 million were issued in 2024. That compared to $61.9 in 2023, up $2.6 million from the prior year. The town's portion equaled $17.3 million, or 23% of all property tax invoicing. The other 77%, as you know, goes to our school districts and the county. Outstanding receivables as of 12/31/24 were 3%. That's to say we were 97% collected by the end of the year, which is fairly standard for us. I always have a little bit of heartburn about what that's going to look like, particularly in a reval year, but we seem to always come in around that 97% threshold, which is good. I believe the current outstanding balance is around $600,000 still.
Okay.
For the 2024 in particular. Other revenue highlights in the general fund include motor vehicle registration at $3.5 million. That was up $200,000 from the prior year, or 6%. Building permits at $346,000 was actually a 39% decline from the prior year. You might remember that 2023 was a busy permitting year. We had PEA with one of their major projects, as well as a major project out on Portsmouth Ave. Income from departments collectively was $1.06 million, which is $180,000 below the prior year. 2023 was, we had a lot of one-time insurance reimbursements for claims that we made, so that won't happen year over year, but that explains the decline in year-over-year revenue from departments. And then finally, interest income. We made $662,000 last year, which was $345,000 increase over the prior year. We've been trying hard as an executive team to take advantage of the interest rate climate while we can, for as long as we can, and also working with our bank to make sure we're maximizing our idle funds while they are idle for us. Moving over to operating expenses. Operating expenses for the general fund were $22 million, representing 97% of the FY24 approved budget. That is to say, we spent 97% of the budget. That left us with $797,000 of unspent budget, of which 86% related to wages, tax, and benefits. It may seem like a lot, but as you think about our budgets are basically labor. So the fact that 86% of what we had left over was labor is not such a surprise. The amount attributable to labor, although it was an improvement over FY23, we saw about a 10% decrease there. As I mentioned, we were able to hire a DPW director. That was a major win for us. We also filled other vacancies, which we'll discuss later on in the DPW section. But the hiring climate in DPW remains a challenge for us in FY 2025. Looking at various groups and departments that make up the general fund, general government was 93% spent at year end. That's the select board, town manager, human resources, legal costs, and town clerk. The select board budget for FY24 was actually a $48,000 decrease from the prior year because we had the Keegan report in FY23 as part of our budget. Town manager's budget was unspent for part-time wages, $7,500. Human resources had unspent part-time wages of $8,600. That was due to the timing of the hiring of a part-time staff member and a turnover of that same position throughout the year. Legal costs were over budget $12,000 during FY24. And the town clerk's office had unspent budget of $107,000, and that was due to some staff hiring as well. You might recall that that's a 4-person office, and they were down 2 for a good part of the first quarter, if not further, if I'm not mistaken. So that led to some unspent budget. In my department, finance, which is now made up of IT, assessing, tax, and myself, we had wage, tax, and benefit spending below budget of $13,500, mostly on savings in healthcare. And our general expenses were down, particularly in IT, where budgets were $19,000 underspent, and tax $10,000, mostly around deeding and legal costs associated with that. Moving into planning, which has the planning department and building inspections, 94% of the budget was spent. In planning, unspent budget of $16,000 was a combination of part-time wages, some software lines, and unused grant matching funds. In the building inspection office, unspent budget of $16,000 related to contract services for an electrical inspector. We tried having an electrical inspector as a part-time position. We tried having an electrical inspector as a contract position. It does not seem to come together for us at the moment, so that was the unspending there. Moving into our public safety, police, fire, and DPW. On the police side, 99% of the budget was spent, leaving roughly $65,000 of unspent budget at year end. In the staff and patrol divisions, vacancies and turnover, along with new staff being hired at lower rates, led to the results there. And in dispatch, they continued to struggle throughout the year, filling vacancies, which led to overtime being over budget about $22,000. So vacant spots meant that someone had to fill shifts, and that led to overtime. Moving into fire, also 99% of the budget spent. Spending below budget in suppression on health benefits and equipment lines led to $60,000 of unspent budget. Moving into public works, 91% of the budget spent, leaving $517,000 of unspent budget. I mentioned we were able to hire the DPW in January, but we were also successful in hiring a GIS coordinator in August. And while that role has actually turned over one more time, that role is now filled again, and we have a GIS coordinator. That said, as I mentioned, many vacancies still remain, contributing to the department's results. In admin, we still have an assistant engineer and an engineering tech position open, which was open for all of 2024, leading to $188,000 of unspent wage, tax, and benefit budgets. The highway division was a bright spot. They were full the full year. Moving down into snow removal in DPW, we were slightly over budget for the year at 102%. Our reliance on contracted plowing services put us over about $55,000, but this was offset by $20,000 in overtime savings. We were also fortunate in 2024 to not need to remove snow from downtown, which saved us another $25,000. As a result, usually we'll make a request of the Snow and Ice Deficit Fund at year end. We did not have to in 2024. So our current balance in our Snow and Ice Deficit Fund held with the trustees is $185,000. And finally, our general maintenance department, 87% spent at year end, including encumbrances. That's a fairly lean budget there. Our town electrician position was filled, but unfortunately not until October of last year, and this led to wage tax and benefit savings of 76%. Moving out of public safety and into welfare, 2024 was the first year the town had a staff member dedicated to the welfare department, and I say dedicated, it's not that our former Pam was not dedicated to the position, because she is and was. We just have a staff member now whose purpose is to be the dedicated welfare coordinator. As you will note in my full report, there's a year-over-year comparison. While the department was $35,000 over budget for the year, our overall costs were a decrease in welfare of $10,000 from 2023. This was mostly attributable to shelter costs, think rent and hotel stays. We spent about $10,000 less. We were fortunate again in 2024 to receive financial assistance from outside organizations, which was only slightly lower than it was in 2023. And when you combine the financial assistance from outside entities, the welfare department was over budget just $3,000 for the year, which was significantly less than the prior year at $69,000. Moving into Parks and Recreation, 97% of the budget was spent at year end. Spending under budget was $18,000 due to staff turnover and new staff benefit elections. We never know what a new person's going to take for benefits, so we always budget for a full healthcare family plan, and a lot of times we find that isn't the case. And finally, rounding out general fund, our debt service costs. Debt service budget was an increase of $562,000 over 2023. We had $686,000 in payments on new borrowing, which was offset by $124,000 of retiring debt. Debt service as a percentage of the overall general fund budget rose from 7% to 9% in 2024. I'll stop for a moment in case there happens to be a question on general funds.
Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
I did have one. Just for next year for snow removal, when you're putting the budget together.
I'm sorry, on what?
Snow removal.
Oh,
sorry, one of the things that came up in the ADA forum was looking at our snow removal and doing more of it. So I'm just throwing it out there because that wasn't recorded. I don't know how many people are aware of that. So if we were over for this year, we want to probably take another look at that for next year. Just a thought when you're putting the budget together.
Make a note of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So moving down into our enterprise funds, looking at the water fund. Water fund ended 2024 on solid footing. Net operating income for the year was $865,000, and there were a couple of factors that contributed to this result. The first of which was the 2023 rate study that we had done by Underwood Engineering that resulted in a 15% increase in our water rates beginning in January of 2024. Total water fund revenue in 24 was $4.9 million, or $831,000 over FY23. The second contributor to the strong results in the water fund was on the expense side. Capital outlay expenditures were significantly less than budget due to the timing of contract payments, which resulted, so let me explain that a little more. We had a multi-year contract that we thought we had more to pay on the contract in '24, but it ended up that we didn't. So we had significant savings of around $500,000 on that one. So when you combine the increase in the rates, which was a planned thing, with the unplanned savings on the expense side, it made for the successful operating income for the year.
Could I ask a question?
Please, of course.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, Corey, there was a lower capital outlay required than what we expected?
Correct.
Was there a specific reason for that, or was it kind of an overall?
Yeah, I think the issue was we had a transition of staff at the management level, getting their hands around what was and wasn't related to contracts. And when we said, we're about to pay you, they said, you don't owe us that much money. And so we had built a budget around an amount that we just didn't need.
And there was a transition of staff that led to that?
There was, that's right. So we're, someone getting up to speed and.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So as a result of operations, the water fund unassigned fund balance is projected to be over $2 million at the end of FY24. And I know folks are sensitive to their utility rates. And this seems like, we did a good job and we had a robust year, but this was partially by design. The reason we do a rate study, and perhaps Mr. Dean and Ms. Roy can chime in as well, but the reason we do a rate study is to sort of figure out what we're going to need over 5 to 7 years, and then build a rate or a rate schedule that keeps us on track to meet those capital outlays, bigger construction projects. So while it seems like we had a good year, this is all towards a means to an end.
Right.
Same with our sewer fund.
Yeah, all said.
Water fund operating expenses were $4.07 million, representing 82% of the budget, and spending below budget of $889,000. Here we see where our shortage of labor really sticks out. Contributing factors here, water continues to look for qualified candidates, as I say, to fill the vacant positions at the plant. One bright note, we did hire a water sewer assistant manager position, which was filled in October of last year. For perspective, roughly $240,000 of that $800,000 was unspent wage tax and benefit for open positions. And as I mentioned, the remaining balance, $516,000, was the capital outlay budget underspending. Debt service in the water fund, debt service budget was an increase of $183,000 over 2023. We had $232,000 in new payments on borrowing for West Side Drive and groundwater development, which was offset by $49,000 in retiring debt payments. Moving into the sewer fund. Sewer fund also ended 2024 in a strong position. Fortunately, the state continued to provide the town with SAG, state aid grant money, related to our wastewater treatment facility, which we used to pay down our debt service. And that totaled $1.06 million in FY24. And we are hopeful that we will see that money going forward into 26 and 27 as well. Sewer rates, as part of the utility study, were increased 4% at the beginning of FY24. As a result, the projected unassigned fund balance at the end of '24 for the sewer fund is $6.5 million, which is extremely healthy. And as a result, town manager has engaged a conversation about how we use some of those funds to a responsible level on some of the projects that we have, rather than going out and funding them through financing. And that's an ongoing conversation that we started earlier this year. And you've seen that in some of the projects that Mr. Cronin has brought forward to use fund balance earlier this year. Total sewer fund revenue, exclusive of SAG, so looking at just our operations, was $7.6 million for the year, which was a 3% increase over FY23. Moving into sewer fund expenses, sewer fund operating expenses were $6.8 million, representing 91%, and spending below budget of $685,000. Contributing factors here, similar to the water fund, water and sewer share a lot of resources when it comes to labor, so the vacancies you see in the water fund are going to be the same in the sewer fund. And while the addition of the assistant manager was a welcome development last year, roughly one half of the unspent sewer budget related to our open positions. The other half related to lines such as utilities, chemicals, maintenance and repairs, and solids handling. And finally, our debt service costs in the sewer fund. Debt service actually decreased in FY24 by $27,000 from the prior year, mostly related to the retirement of debt on the Portsmouth Ave sewer line replacement. Moving into revolving funds, unless there are any questions on
Any
utilities.
questions on water and sewer? Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
You're welcome. Cable Access Television Fund, CATV operations ended FY24 with net income of $24,600. You'll recall from our conversations back in FY23, our goal with CATV operations has been to build the fund balance for future capital equipment investments that are going to need to be made. At the end of 2024, our fund balance for CATV was $171,000. And the department anticipates making its next significant capital investments in FY27. I'm anticipating we've put about $25,000 into the fund balance the last couple of years, so 50 over the last couple of years. In speaking with Bob, I think that's a healthy number, and I think we're going to be able to have a conversation about ratcheting back how much we need, on incrementally into cable access, at least for a year or two. We want to manage how much that fund grows. Cable access franchise fees, as you know, are allocated between general fund and CATV. In 2024, $185,000 was allocated to cable access television, which was roughly the same amount as FY23. Total expenses in 24 were $161,000, or 79% of budget. As you know, there was some staffing transition. We hired another full-time person, and that transition and reconfiguring led to some underspending on staffing lines. Moving into rec revolving, 2024 was another strong year for participation in the rec department's programs, events, and activities. More campers participated in summer camp offerings, and more youth participated in soccer, t-ball, and basketball last year. Events such as the Powder Keg Festival also sold out. Operational highlights include total revenue for the fund was an increase of $190,000 over FY23. Program revenue of $535,000 was $142,000 over FY23. Again, more campers and more folks playing sports. Special events revenue of $133,000 was a slight increase over FY23. This includes our Powder Keg Festival. Other revenue, including all the activity around our pool and the trips that the rec puts on, totaled $29,000 over the prior year. We should also mention that due to the generosity of the community, we saw many donations and grants last year, which helped to offset $9,000 in programming expenses for the rec revolving fund. Total on the expense side, total of rec revolving expenses were an increase of $72,000 over FY23 and $180,000 over the FY24 budget projection. I've detailed many of the reasons for the budget overruns in the full report, but in short, they include changes to food suppliers at the town's concession stand, the cost to maintain our aging community pool, including repairs and supplies, and just the increase in cost to run the various programs with more folks participating in them. The fund ended the year with net income $103,000, which compared to a slight loss of $6,000 the year before. And as a result, the fund balance at the end of 2024 was $193,000, and that is net of factoring in the commitments we've made to 10 Hampton Road of $133,000 towards that project. So doing well. And finally, EMS fund. Fire Department's ambulance services continue to see an increase in demand in FY24. The service saw a 7% increase in patient encounters during the year over the prior. 2024 was also the first full year under the new service rates approved by the Select Board in 2023. Operational results include ambulance revenue of $858,000, which was a 15% increase over FY23. Ambulance expenses of just under $500,000 was a 27% increase over FY23, but in line with budget expectations for the year. And that's the end of my report. I'm flipping to the other page and there's nothing. And on a humorous note. So a busy year. There's a lot there to digest. I hope it made some sense, and I hope it was useful to you, even though it was somewhat delayed.
It actually, it's very useful, and I like the way that you've, when you first came on, I like how you've condensed everything, and while still keeping it very thorough, it's very easy. It was very easy to read and understand, much like with your presentation, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, I hope that, occasionally I'll get a call from someone out there in town, but if anybody has any questions about anything we do in the town relating to finances, they're happy to stop in my office or give us a call.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
I don't, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate how accessible you are, Corey.
Yeah.
Very much. Well, now we're ready for budget season.
I know. See, and being a little later, we're closer to budget season, so this might still be in our minds.
I wouldn't even talk. I have a 6:30 report that I need to give you as well, which is coming up. But literally, the next thing on my schedule is to start moving into budget. So, yeah.
It really doesn't end.
No.
Right? No. It's continual.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Corey.
Excuse me. Okay, moving into regular business, I'm going to turn it over to the clerk.
Okay. I have quite a bit, and just before I start, I just want to make sure, because I haven't done the tax deed waivers. So I'm going to start with that.
Do you want to do the abatements first?
I can get them out of the way, sure.
Let's do the abatements
Okay.
first. Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Start slow and easy.
Oh, gosh, there is a lot tonight, guys, so just bear with me. Okay.
I think, though, on the abatements, that looks like you could probably combine.
Yeah, I can combine the denials and stuff, but I'm just going to be on a roll. So I move to approve the following abatements. MAP 69, Lot 3, Unit 310, in the amount of $238.39 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'll save the denials for after. MAP 74, Lot 45, in the amount of $450.09 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
MAP 95, Lot 64, Unit 137, in the amount of $314.88 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
MAP 110, Lot 2, Unit 73, in the amount of $144.37 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
MAP 111, Lot 5, Unit 6, in the amount of $304.46 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 6, in the amount of $411.99 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 6, in the amount of $396.28 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 8, in the amount of $292.09 for the tax year 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 8, in the amount of $289.57 for the tax year 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 8, in the amount of $367.94 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 8, in the amount of $319.48 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 8, in the amount of $278.05 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 95, Lot 64, Unit 331, in the amount of $627.99 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 1B, in the amount of $113.22 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 111, Lot 5, Unit 1B, in the amount of $248.70 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to deny map 73, Lot 4976 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I move to deny map 55, Lot 9 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, there's that one. Now the fun one. Okay. So this one is only 2022 until I get to the end, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do I and I have to move them individually?
Yes.
Okay, so I move that the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 200, in the amount of $1,512.01 for the tax year 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 64, lot 105, unit 30, in the amount of $1,363.51 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 350, in the amount of $983.13 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax waiver deed on map 95, Lot 64, Unit 111, in the amount of $1,327.03 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 111-5-5 in the amount of $310.96 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 32, lot 12, unit 29, in the amount of $535.01 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 239, in the amount of $1,472.93 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 2, unit 77, in the amount of $206.74 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 87, lot 14, unit 21B, in the amount of $626.20.
Second.
For the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 70, lot 132, in the amount of $17,164.29 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 5, in the amount of $566.28 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 124, in the amount of $1,282.75 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 3, unit 31, in the amount of $342.22 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 2, unit 10, in the amount of $282.30 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 104, lot 79, unit 805, in the amount of $1,501.59 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 73, lot 49, unit 40, in the amount of $1,554.82 for the tax year 2022.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 228, in the amount of $720 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 55, lot 44, in the amount of $3,322.71 for the tax year 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 151, in the amount of $84.40 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 43, in the amount of $706.97 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 264, in the amount of $847.66 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 32, lot 12, unit 8, in the amount of $727.81 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 103, lot 13, unit 37, in the amount of $1,110.80 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 309, in the amount of $988.33 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 222, in the amount of $907.58 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 103, lot 15, unit 11, in the amount of $1,303.59 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 308, in the amount of $1,095.16 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 87, lot 14, unit 1A, in the amount of $1,256.69 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 2, unit 84, in the amount of $290.11 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 324, in the amount of $764.28 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 270, in the amount of $1,597.98 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 15, in the amount of $1,592.78 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 2, unit 75, in the amount of $258.84 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 94, lot 64, unit 180, in the amount of $1,488.56 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 52, lot 44, in the amount of $5,552.87 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 103, lot 13, unit 23, in the amount of $1,509.85 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 343, in the amount of $1,704.81 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 125, in the amount of $975.31 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 104, lot 79, unit 144, in the amount of $1,293.17 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 181, in the amount of $992.11 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 110, lot 2, unit 7, in the amount of $290.11 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 37, in the amount of $1,089.95 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 95, lot 64, unit 41, in the amount of $709.57 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 111, lot 5, unit 6, in the amount of $351.28 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I move to approve the tax deed waiver on map 111, unit 5, lot 5, unit 8, in the amount of $1,547.13. Now, this is going back to 2020. Do I just say it as 2020 or
For the tax year
2020?
2020.
Okay, for the tax year 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, also in our packet, for the third time, and we have everything that we need, I believe. We have a request for an abatement of some interest that was charged, and apparently there was a request made of MRI for a Zoom meeting to discuss property reassessment. And during that time, according to the letter from the requester, MRI advised them to, quote unquote, just ignore any tax bill from the town, which they apparently did. And then in November of 2024, they received the end of year bill, and it came to their attention that they had missed the installation, the first one. Property owner very promptly paid the entire bill, as well as the interest, which was $241.21. They are requesting that, since this was a first offense and because there was a misunderstanding with MRI, they are requesting that the town abate, which would be essentially refunding the interest that they paid of $241.21. Did I get that right, Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
In years past, we have considered requests for abatement or refunds on interest. We've taken them up on a case-by-case basis. Generally, particularly when there's either an offer to pay through a plan, or in this case, they've actually paid their entire bill in full. It seems like there was a misunderstanding, so I'll open it up to questions or comments from the board, but it seems fairly straightforward to me.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I am reading the MRI memorandum, and they claim that they never instruct taxpayers to ignore a tax bill. Pay it, and then we'll sort it out. So that doesn't quite jive with what the taxpayer is saying. Are we taking that into consideration, or are we just going to go with our usual policy?
No, I mean, I take everything into consideration, but I think that, personally speaking, I don't want to try to referee a he said, she said. I would be surprised if MRI advised them, but I'm also not going to not believe what.
Perhaps that's what they understood.
Perhaps. I don't think there was any ill intent on either side.
No.
I think that the fact that when the property owner learned that they owed that money, and I use the word promptly paid the bill in full along with the interest, I think it was a misunderstanding, and I'm inclined to consider refunding the interest.
The $224.21?
Correct.
I'll go along with that.
Any other questions or comments?
No, I will. I will also go along with it. I just want to reiterate that when the discussion was had, it was always pay your bill, but I do believe it was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, misunderstandings happen.
And they promptly paid it.
Yeah, well, that's
so
it.
That's the other plus on this, is that they did pay it. So.
And we advised folks of that during the reval last year. It's just if you have questions, pay the bill. We can work it out. But I do think, Mr. Chartrand, and thank you for bringing up the memo from MRI. I truly think it's just a misunderstanding, and I'm inclined to refund it. So if there are no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to, Mr. Dean, is this going to be an abatement or a refund?
This will be a refund of interest.
Yeah. I would entertain a motion to refund tax map 90, lot 29, in the amount of $241.21 for the tax year 2024.
So moved.
Second.
There's
Can I
a
ask
motion.
you a question?
Please.
On the interest refund page, it's $224.21.
I had 241.
So there's a discrepancy on the figures.
Which is
In the letter, it's 241.
So I think we go with the
Town document.
the town documentation.
Yes.
224.
So can we withdraw?
I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Try
It's
this
$20,
again.
but
No, it's a thank you. I would entertain a motion to refund tax map 90, lot 29, in the amount of $224.21 for the tax year 2024.
Refund of interest. So moved.
The interest, yep.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
It's haunting me.
3 times the charm.
That's right.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Permits and approvals. We've got the outdoor dining permit update request that we heard at our last meeting. Everyone have an opportunity to look at this?
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Yep.
When-
I have my date.
Mr. Chartrand?
when Mr. Lopez was in front of us, he was requesting a waiver. Is that still happening or no?
Yes, that's still happening.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So we're not approving the permit. We're approving the waiver.
Yep.
The permitting goes to the town manager.
I understand what we're doing now.
Yep.
All right.
But I do appreciate the questions that I had are now answered.
Okay.
The dates and things that I know it was but it was in front of me. I could not ask the question, so thank you.
And I believe all department heads have signed off on the permitting.
Mm-hmm. Saw the email.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I would entertain a motion to approve the outdoor dining permit fee waiver request of Mr. Jamie Lopez, the Inn by the Bandstand Ambrose Restaurant, and hereby waive the 2025 outdoor dining permit fee of $116.69 as prorated for June 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. And let's see, the dog warrant. Bear with me 1 moment.
Is this something that needs to be read by the clerk?
Yep. Go ahead.
No, I'm fine.
Thank you.
So just where it starts with the pursuant to. Okay. So this is warrant for unlicensed dogs pursuant to the New Hampshire RSA 466-14 entitled Warrants Proceedings. You are hereby directed to proceed with the issuance of a civil forfeiture for each unlicensed dog included in this warrant. Any unlicensed dogs may be seized by local law enforcement for holding in an Exeter, New Hampshire holding facility for a period of 7 days, after which time full title to the dog shall pass to the facility unless the owner of the dog has, before the expiration of the period, caused the dog to be licensed. Pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 466-16 entitled Returns, this warrant must be returned on or before August 31st and state the number of owners who received and paid the civil forfeiture and number of dogs in Exeter that have been seized and held under the provisions of RSA 466-14 and the number of owners who have received summons to a district of municipal court for failure to pay the civil forfeiture pursuant to RSA 466-13. Excuse me, or to license the dog pursuant to RSA 466-1.
Thank you. I think that's all the reading you have tonight.
Other than my report.
Well, that's up to you. Any questions?
I do have questions.
Please.
Do we actually seize dogs, or is this just a legal thing that we have to do?
We do not seize dogs as a matter of practice.
That's good. So this is a legal thing that we have to do. I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Don't take my dog.
Well.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
I would entertain a motion for the Select Board to approve and sign the 2025 dog warrant.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
My
carried.
dog is licensed, by the way.
As is mine.
Mine too, and we make it very easy for people to license.
It is easy.
It is.
Just do it when you come in to register your car.
We do, make it very easy. And we email people too.
Do?
We do.
We have a great clerk's office.
We took up Steve Cronin's request earlier, so Mr. Dean, I'll hand it over to you, please, for the town manager's report.
Sure. So we've got a couple of things going on. One is we're still working on the value engineering for the police fire substation project, and we should have an update for the board hopefully at the end of the month. So we're angling toward that. The town of Kensington has requested a public hearing on the groundwater permit. That'll be held in late July over in the Kensington Town Hall. That is something that they're entitled to request if they so choose. Park Street Bridge, we had a follow-up meeting with New Hampshire DOT June 11th online. They will be here June 30th to take questions from the board. And then the other thing I wanted to report on was 10 Hampton Road. We're making good progress on that project. And I think that's all I had for tonight.
Any questions for Mr. Dean? I drove by the other day, and it looks like just a shell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks great.
Could you just elaborate on the public meeting and on the water?
So they're
Please.
entitled to request a public hearing under the RSA, that is the groundwater permit process. So they've actually solicited DES and made that request in a formal way to
Okay,
have that hearing. So it's a hearing that we have to hold
okay. And it's going to be in their town,
in their
and
town,
we should all be there.
as many people
Yeah.
as possible.
So do we have we don't have a date or a time?
No date or time.
All right, so you'll get that to us as soon as possible?
Yes.
Thank
Could we
you.
urge our friends in Kensington to give us as much notice as possible?
Yes.
Yes,
we will do
please.
that.
Thank you.
Summer vacations.
Could I have the date for that one more time?
It'll be in late July.
Got it. I thought I missed it.
The only thing I wanted to just, I forwarded 2 emails, Mr. Dean, to the executive team, executive committee team, earlier this afternoon, which is regarding one of the deed waivers. So if somebody could follow up
Yes.
with that request this week and just
yes.
follow up with me as well.
Will do.
Great, thank you. Select Board Committee reports. Do you want a break? I can.
No, I'm okay. It's pretty short. So I had a Housing Advisory Committee meeting on Friday, June 13th. We had a review of a legislative update. I didn't do it because I didn't know Julie was going to be here, and I figured Julie would do that. So, and then there was a Monadnock region ADU. No, I don't want to say it was a contest, but it was great. Some kids got involved, and there were a lot of, it was just a thing to see initiatives and creative ideas on ADUs and what they could look like. And we might hopefully be doing something like that in the Seacoast, so that would be interesting to see. I'm hoping we do that. Also, there's some talk for some of the bills that either have passed or might be signed off on soon for housing, for ADUs. They're all positive as far as the ADUs, except we're having, the next step is going to be to see what we can do about financing. Because you can have an ADU, but it costs a lot of money to add that on, and so they'll be looking into some initiatives maybe for financing. And we are skipping our July meeting, so we won't be meeting again until August 8th. Planning Board was the night before that, Thursday the 12th. Planning Board, the Wiley Creek Company for their new Building D was approved. That went rather late, so the Foss Motor for design to demolish their existing business at 133 Portsmouth Ave and construct a new one was tabled, and that will be heard on June 26th. They did the election of officers. Langdon Plummer is the chair. Aaron Brown is the vice chair. They tabled the clerk because John Gruger, who is the current clerk, was not there, and wanted to talk to him to see if he was interested in continuing in that role. And then I'm just going to really briefly touch on something without Julie here, but during our goal session, we were talking about the 250 committee, and Julie was very busy, so I had offered to talk, initial conversation with DPW, and I had that today. So just some of the things to keep an eye for future. Again, I'm going to do a memo to Julie, copy Steve Cronin, and then go from there. We need to be careful of ADA. The way the sidewalks are, if we do red, white, and blue, we have to make sure it's not going to interfere with the white part of an ADA and someone that's got site issues. They were very positive about doing it. Jay's going to pull together a cost analysis, so we'll have that. And he asked when this committee might want to do this, and it hasn't been discussed as far as I know. So he did say if it happens in the fall, it would just have to be redone again in the spring because it won't last through the winter, and then it would take a year before it's really faded away. So another option is going to be stencils instead of paint. but he really wasn't sure how well that would hold up either. And then he was just asking about red, white, and blue. Would it be red, white, and blue, in between, and just use the white we already use? But the ADA, again, was not something that I considered, and wanted to know where they would be, if they would be Water Street up to Portsmouth Ave, and possibly also if that's a perimeter, would be in between the town hall and the town.
Are we talking about painting the side?
Yes, that's what.
Oh, I didn't understand.
I thought it was the crosswalk.
It's the crosswalk.
Did I? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did, thank you for saying that, because he did suggest that maybe stencils on the sidewalks is something that is possible. Right now, it's just the initial throwing some ideas out there. The 250th committee will make their recommendations, but I did my due diligence, and that's what I have on that for now.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
After many weeks of thinking that they had forgotten about them, Sam asked me yesterday, when is he going to start these meetings?
I was going to ask you if he's been involved.
No, he has not been. And that's been on me because it has felt impossible to get him.
I'll help you if I'm off. I don't mind dropping him off and bringing him home.
Yes, so I need to.
Because it's exciting.
It is very exciting. He is very,
Motivated.
Yes, he is very motivated. His brother is like, no, I'm not sure. And Sam said, I'll speak for both of us. So I thought, well, good luck, committee. But
No, I really, the rec advisory board was who had suggested that we consider putting someone from high school or whatever. And so I was so glad that Sam is interested in doing this, because it's really important. And it gets them involved in community projects at a young age. Yay.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Selectwoman Cowan.
We had a Water and Sewer Advisory Committee meeting, which continues to operate at a very smooth and steady level. Bob did a great job leading the committee. We had, we heard, I think, six, with 3 people in person or on Zoom.
Good, yeah.
And nothing unusual or worrisome to report.
Good. We did table one.
Oh, that's right. We did table one.
Yeah,
We
just-
tabled the post office.
Okay.
We
On
needed
account
more
of, like-
info, yeah.
What's going on here, guys?
Yeah, it was quite massive.
It was quite massive, with a huge cost to the town, or not cost to the town, but abatement to the post office. So we did table that. Carl Wickstrom, who has been a dedicated member of the committee, has decided to spend parts of his time traveling, but he is committed to continuing to serve on the Water and Sewer Advisory Committee, which is great.
Good.
He has been an invaluable member and
Yes, he has.
takes it very seriously. So we're grateful that he's willing to consider.
Good.
Very knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Anything else?
No.
No?
That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about your communications? I noticed you changed your.
The Communications Advisory Committee, yes, we also had that one, sorry.
okay.
So yes, I did have 2. I never have anything to talk about. Now I have 2 committees to talk about. And we did have the Communications Advisory Committee meeting. There was robust discussion about how to sort of standardize how we're asking for input from everybody when different committees or organizations that are associated with the town go to, put out a survey or whatever. Like, how do we standardize that so we're actually getting synthesizable information from all of these different asks on behalf of the town, which I thought was great. Amanda Kelly came in from the from a variety of committees, but I think she was there on behalf of the accessibility work that she had done, with a lot of the learnings that they had taken from the surveys that they had asked people to participate in. And how do we catalog this? Because there's a lot of very interesting information. And if we're asking this enough times, we can actually see sort of trends and data. And so how do we go about cataloging that in a way that is then usable?
And you're going to meet quarterly.
We're meeting quarterly.
So, and I'm your backup, and I'll stick as your backup. You're usually pretty good anyway, but just, it's during the day. So.
Yes.
It's Monday for 2 hours from 8:30 to 10:30.
We decided, yes, we decided on a Monday morning because that is a time when it's easy for me to, if I have something scheduled, I can hold that time. So that was.
I just have to, if just give me a heads up, which you do, but I just would have to miss some work Monday morning.
Yeah.
Which is tougher. Did you know, I'm pretty sure I reported, but just in case, Spencer, we have a young man from college who is studying that area, which I'm so sorry, I can't think of what it's called, data collecting and analyzing it, and he's going to be doing a survey for the Parks and Rec. So he might be somebody you guys
we should
want to talk to.
I don't want to get in the way of that, but I do think we should have him talk to Bob potentially, and then potentially Amanda as well, especially if there are learnings that we can.
Yeah, this is about tournaments and things that are coming in, and if they're staying here, if they're coming shopping downtown, it's more about shopping and staying, or whether or not they go to Portsmouth and stay and come do the tournaments in Exeter and things, so.
It's the economic impact of some of these rec
Thank you,
tournaments
that's
or
so much better. Economic impact.
I think that that's an excellent thing to catalog and see, because I do think,
Yes. We keep talking about it, but there's no way to quantify it, right? So this was an idea to try to get those numbers.
Great, thank you.
Now I really have nothing.
Sorry, Molly,
No, thank you. I totally forgot. It was last week, so I forgot about it.
Selectman Chartrand.
Very quickly, Sustainability Advisory Committee meeting met on Wednesday, the 4th of June. We did some planning for the year. I think we also tentatively scheduled the next styrofoam recycling for July 19th.
Nice.
But tentative, and I will confirm that at our next meeting.
Okay.
I missed the Concom meeting last Tuesday. My apologies to all of you for missing that. I had a conflict come up at the last minute. And then, as Selectwoman Cowan indicated, I attended the Water and Sewer Advisory last Wednesday.
Great. Thank you very much. I had the tree committee last Tuesday. Talked about tree inventory, ALY Festival, and the plantings of trees come September. We're getting ready for that. I also attended another event at the solar array. Senator Hassan was able to come and visit us and get a quick tour and spent about a half hour with us. So it was nice to see her there and appreciate all that she's done. That's all I had there. Correspondence. We have the NHMA legislative update. We have an email from a resident on High Street. Mr. Dean, I'm hoping that Mr. Cronin has responded to Mr. Miller by now?
Yes, he has.
Okay, thank you. And did you want to talk about the Health Trust correspondence quickly?
Sure. So SB 297 went through the legislative process and ended up in the Senate non-concurring with the House on the bill. And what that means is essentially SB 297 is dead.
Good.
As it exists. And so we will go into the next session with Health Trust intact and be able to offer insurance to our members.
That's great news. Thank you.
It's easier to round up 24 than 400?
Apparently.
Thank God.
Okay, board calendar. I'm ready to go through September.
All right, I'm ready.
If everybody is ready. And we have just two small hiccups. But everything, this should line up perfectly to get us to when Mr. Dean presents the draft budget. So if we're good, June 30th, July 14th, July 28th, August 11.
Oops, sorry, hold on, I hit the wrong button.
Pause.
Okay.
Okay.
August 11, August 18.
Ooh,
This one's new, okay.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was doing. I took off my asterisk for the last one.
All right,
Everyone good?
yeah.
Yeah.
September 2nd, which is a Tuesday.
September 2nd.
The day after Labor Day.
I have it in there already, yep.
September 15th
Yep.
and September 29th.
Select
So everything's Mondays except for that one,
Yep.
9/2.
September 29th.
Got it.
Does that work for everyone?
That works.
All right.
Everyone got it?
they're in there.
All right, and I'll get these to Selectwoman Woman.
And I don't think I should have to move them here, but
Okay,
or I can schedule around this instead of.
perfect.
All right?
Any other business before the board? I'm happy to get us out of here by 9 o'clock. 5 minutes to
Want a
spare.
motion to adjourn?
Please.
So move, I will move a motion, I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.